Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Hope you are great. So, I am sure some of you may have seen the controversy going around Graham Platner, who is running under Democrats, right? One thing I am going to say is that there are some people that I will never stand up or stand for. This is me. So, what happened? Graham Platner has a tattoo of right? And he's a veteran. He said that he actually got the tattoo when he while serving, and he just woke up, got drunk with his friends, and decided to get the tat. So since how many years he got the tattoo, he never knew the meaning of it and all that. So when people saw the tattoo, and everybody were like, "No, so you are a na and you are running under Democrats." And to my great surprise, some white people are leftists are supporting him, saying that you should vote for him because he's progressive. Progressive, my butts. I will never ever support something like that because these are the people that, after being voted for by black people, guess what will happen? When it's time for them to vote in Congress in favor of Democrats or in favor of the people that voted them in, guess what? They will vote against you. White people are always privileged to have grace, but people that look like me never ever get that grace. So you know what? Put that grace that you all are about to give him, shove it into your mouth and swallow it. Let's get into this video.
Fuck, you can be white and support genocide like Graham Platner getting Nazi tattoos, and the white leftists will support you to the ends of the earth as long as you virtue signal for them. But if you're a black woman like Kamala Harris and you support genocide, or you're a minority and you support genocide, these same white leftists will virtue signal you to fucking hell. How in the fuck are you going to say that your hard line is genocide and you're going to support a person with Nazi fucking tattoos? How are you going to say that you don't support fascism, but you support a person that wanted to tattoo that shit on their fucking body? Are we cool? Are we okay? Are you going to convince me that it isn't just your white identity coming out here and that you just have to support this white man because he's coming in to be the white savior that you cannot? I am not trying to hear none of this bullshit, because the fact that we had to listen for 107 days and then for the entire year after the election that the hard lines are genocide and we will never get behind a person like that and all that shit. And the only reason that y'all are supporting this fucking fascist supporting white dickhead is because he doesn't take any APAC money. That's it. That's all it takes. You can get Nazi tattoos and be a heinous fucking person, but as long as you don't take any APAC money, the white leftists will fucking support you. That virtue signaling purity politic bullshit is what got us fucking here with Donald Trump in office. And y'all still have not.
I saw a post on Twitter that said that Graham Platner, the very progressive man running for Senate in the state of Maine, had a Nazi tattoo, and I was very disappointed. And then I took a second to Google it and learned that this whole thing is just a distraction from the literal Nazis in the Young Republican group chat that dropped a week ago, and a distraction from the Epstein files, which the House has been kept out of session for an entire month to prevent the vote to release the Epstein files. And I'm going to show you that this whole thing is being blown out of proportion, and you should still support Platner as one of the most progressive candidates we've ever seen. Here it is, the tattoo in question. This tweet, by the way, was posted by the Senate Republican campaign arm. Wonder why they would want to make him look bad, because they're funding his opponents. It could just be a regular skull and crossbones, which is exactly what Platner says it is. He said that he got the tattoo with his fellow Marines. He picked a design out that was a terrifying looking skull and crossbones on the wall. And while I have my issues with the ADL, a spokesperson said it appears to be this type of tattoo, which would be troubling, but they also said, we do understand that sometimes people get tattoos without understanding their hateful association. In those cases, the bearer should be asked whether they repudiate its hateful meaning. And Graham Platner said, I think you can pretty much figure out where I stand on Nazism, anti-Semitism, and racism in general. I would say a lifelong opponent. So even if he did accidentally get this specific design, he has said verbatim, I am against Nazism and white supremacy. He said verbatim, I am not a secret Nazi. And he also pointed out that he got a security clearance and a full screen from the Army, which bans extremist, racist, sexist, or otherwise indecent tattoos. And at no point has anybody in his career ever said that looks like a Nazi tattoo until they heard about this opposition research and how this was being spun against him. At which point, he went on one of the most popular podcasts in the nation, Pod Save America, and dropped the actual video so people could see it, and then explained that he is not a Nazi. So, is the tattoo a skull and crossbones? Yes. Do I think it is a Nazi symbol? Not necessarily. Do I believe him when he says he is not a Nazi? Yes. And I think you should too. Because Graham Platner is one of the most progressive candidates we have ever had. Here are a few of his policies. Rebuild our failing healthcare system, support small business, break up monopolies, stop mass deportation, defend our climate, decisive action on the housing crisis, defend Medicare and Medicaid, protect Social Security, end billionaire tax dodging. The first issue that he says is to stop billionaires from stealing elections. Support union jobs, defend and support public schools, keep government out of our private lives, defend the right to choose, raise the federal minimum wage. He is pro-Gaza, end the failed war on drugs, take on waste and corruption in the Pentagon, pass term limits and hold politicians to the term limit pledges. All of this to say, if you heard the story about Graham Platner being a secret Nazi, please, you can do your research, you can look at the articles yourself, I showed you the pictures, but I need you to remember that this is one of the most progressive candidates we've ever seen who wants to make lasting change for people in Maine and for American citizens, and that the Republican Party dropped this bombshell a week after their own party had proven screenshots and receipts of their own anti-Semitism, and while the Republican Party yet again is trying to hide the Epstein files. Please stay focused and support Graham Platner. That's all.
The Advocate did an interview with Graham Platner. He is the progressive Democrat trying to unseat Susan Collins in Maine. And like, this man has a tattoo that he didn't know was rooted in like white supremacy and violent rhetoric. There's like these Reddit posts that are just one after another of homophobic, like transphobic, terrible comments. And yes, people grow and change, all the things. What I'm gagging at is, one, these queer outlets will always be a baptismal for some of the most trifling people in the world. Two, when I was in the comments, I am saddened by how much we are starving for allyship and hope that people will come and be in positions of power and will protect and care about us as queer people. Because the way that people are like, oh my God, I forgive him. It's like, you know, when your homegirl is in a very abusive relationship and you're like, sister, like, this is not okay. And then she's like, but he went to anger management. Yeah, he whooped your ass when he got home from anger management though. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're looking at the comments and I can't even be mad because I understand the fear and the way that we are under attack from this administration and so many people who are in power politically. And stand up. Like, don't make it easy. Yeah, get Susan Collins out of there, but don't let him think, hey, the conversation I would want to have with Graham is, this is some bullshit, but we got bigger fish to fry. But once we get done with this, we'll be back to you. We don't have to absolve people. Like, my whole thing with Kamala and Trump, it wasn't saying go over here and braid her hair and grease her scalp and this and the third. It's saying, hey, can we address this once we get rid of King Koopa? We can go back to one of these other little things, whatever the little things on fucking Super Mario. Y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. My point is, well, let me rephrase this. Y'all are so focused on Eveline, y'all let motherfucking Skeletor come in and take over the castle. My thing is, okay, Eveline, bitch, and if you watch that newest version, the Kevin Smith version, they actually had to work with Evelyn to get the things happen. This is going to brilliant. But the point is, yeah, Evelyn, bitch, we got to get to the other side because, bitch, we going to get Skeletor together. But, bitch, don't think I forgot about you. That's the conversation I want to have. Not Evelyn is my buddy and my pal. No, bitch, you played on my time. Y'all want to make everybody childlike. Black folks can make a comment at 15 and y'all will want them to not have another opportunity in their lifetime. These grown ass white men are fucking having corner offices at in high rises saying shit at a young age of 35 and y'all calling them kids.
I'm sorry, how do you not know you have a Nazi tattoo? What? I just, like, the fact that in Maine, the two people who are running for a Senate seat are an elderly woman who's 76 years old and a guy with a fucking Nazi tattoo. What's going on? Seriously. And to see people like, oh, nothing ever sinks Republicans. Why should we let this sink Graham Platner? Having a Nazi tattoo should be disqualifying. That is very worrying. That's very scary. I'm very concerned with some of y'all who are just like casually or view it as like casual or just like feel like almost desensitized to that idea of someone like literally putting a brand of like genocide and hatred and white supremacy on their body in a very permanent form. I mean, tattoos aren't permanent, but like still, like it's still weird. And his like reasoning was, oh, I was drunk and my Marine buddies and I got it. That's still like, okay, that doesn't really answer all the questions. Like, I feel like some of y'all who are Democrats, it's like, one, the Senate races aren't till like next year, so there's plenty of time for someone else to come into the race. But secondly, I don't think that it's beneficial for Democrats to just like throw sweep things under the rug because Republicans do it when it's things like this. Like, that's very weird. That's very abnormal. Like, it's fucking.
Y'all hoes about to be mad at me, but I don't give a fuck, and I'm gonna make this real quick and simple, bitch. I'm not in motherfucking Maine, so I ain't got a dog in the motherfucking fight, and I see you when we see each other, okay? But what I have an issue with Graham Cracker Platner is not just the Nazi tattoo, and not the fact that he just got it covered up just yesterday, not the mere fact that even his campaign staffer came to him and told him what that tattoo meant, and the fact that he even had weeks before it even hit the news cycle to rectify the issue and rectify the situation, but he chose to continue. My issue isn't just the mere fact that he believes that black people tip low. My issue is the mere fact that we have people within our party making excuses for bigotry. Why is it that the progressive wing of our party always wants to platform the most toxic and prejudice on the backs of the most marginalized? Why is it that y'all always want us to deal with it just for the sake of it? See, my ass might bottom every now and again, but I ain't taking it. It's giving Fetterman all over again. I remember back in 2022 during the primaries, black people told you about John Fetterman, how he chased an unarmed black man down with a fucking shotgun. But you didn't listen to us now. But how is it going with John Fetterman? Where the fuck is he at? Is he progressive as y'all painted him out to be? Is he like Bernie? Bitch, bye, and get the fuck out of my face.
For the past few weeks, I've been watching white leftist content creators salivate, praise the candidate that's running for the Senate seat out in Maine against Susan Collins. They've been praising him. They've been lifting him up. And now he is in the news for having a Nazi tattoo and for posting racist posts some years ago over on Reddit. Let's talk about it. This is Graham Platner. Have you seen him? I've seen him out there. And he says everything that I want a candidate to say. When I first started to see him, I was like, oh, this is a good candidate to go against Susan Collins, right? We all sick of Susan Collins because she's always concerned but never does anything, right? Susan Collins has gone against women's rights. Susan Collins has gone against black people in this country. Susan Collins has supported Donald Trump and his policies 99.99999% of the time. But she will get in front of cameras and say, oh, she's concerned about what Donald Trump is doing or what Donald Trump is saying or what the Republican Party is doing. She's always concerned, but never steps up to the plate to use her power to stop any of this nonsense. And so when Graham stepped on the scene and I started listening to him and what his platform was and the things that he was for and the things that he was against, he's for universal health care. He wants to stop these endless wars. He's against authoritarianism and fascism. He basically came out and said that he would not vote for Chuck Schumer to be Democratic leader. I was like, well, all right. And from there, I just listened, I paid attention, and I watched to see what color the wall was going to be next, right? I watched and I listened to all of my fellow content creators who talk politics. They have really pushed this man out there. They have brought a lot of attention to him and his campaign. And I just sat back and I watched and I waited. Because as a black voter in this country, I don't have the luxury to just listen to the words that are coming out of a candidate's mouth. I need to sit back. I need to be patient. I need to study these candidates. I need to sit back. And when we do that, eventually we get the whole entire story of a candidate. Because what is coming out now about Mr. Graham Platner is that he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. That's right. A Nazi tattoo. That says a lot to a black voter like me in this country. Because I have a problem with the Nazi tattoo that is on Pete Hegseth's chest or arm or wherever it is. So you can bet your bottom dollar that I also have a problem that Graham also has a Nazi tattoo. In addition to that Nazi tattoo, Graham has been posting some problematic things out there on social media. In the past. I'm reading Axios right here. He said a lot of things I don't have a problem with what he said. A lot of things in what he said goes into shaping who he is as a politician now. If he really is for universal health care and other socialist programs, then some of the things that they are calling problematic, it goes to confirm that he's always been this way, right? The things that he said that I have a problem with is that he put out a question asking, why don't black people tip? So he believes stereotypical bullshit about black people. And he also said sexual assault victims should take responsibility for themselves and not get so fucked up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. Yeah, that's according to Axios. He put that out there. Now, those two things I have an issue with. That means he has some stereotypical beliefs, racist stereotypical beliefs about black people, and he's thinking kind of crazy about sexual assault victims. Okay, now these posts were made a few years ago, so can he grow? Can he evolve? Absolutely. But let me give you a peek into how black people have to vote in this country. These are your candidates, the two that you have to choose from. Who are you going to choose? Susan Do Nothing Collins, who has voted 99.999% of the time with a fascist dictator, or Graham, who said some messed up shit some years ago and could have possibly evolved from that or not. But everything else he supports that you support, universal health care, that type of stuff. Who are you going to vote for? This is what black people are faced with in this country. And yet, we don't have the luxury to sit out. We don't have the luxury to say, I'm not going to vote. Because if you don't vote, you just might get this. And I'm sick of this. This is why we tell you, we know some of the Democrats up there in Congress are racist. We know that. But what was the alternative? Now Graham has come out and apologized for the things that he said out there on social media. He has come out and basically stated people are accusing him of being a Nazi because of the tattoo. He's come out and given an explanation for the tattoo. He says all those years ago, him and his Marine buddies got drunk and went into a tattoo shop. They saw a tattoo on the wall, and that's the tattoo that they got. He didn't know it was a Nazi tattoo at the time of him getting it. My problem is that this happened all those years ago. You mean to tell me since that time you haven't educated yourself about this Nazi tattoo? Nobody said to you that this was a Nazi tattoo? Anywho, he said in subsequent interviews that he is willing to have the tattoo covered. Oh joy. That's how I feel about that. Oh joy. Yeah. For those of you who are going to ask, are there any other Democrats running in the race? We can vote for those. Well, Chuck Schumer got Janet Mills to run for the Senate seat. Would you rather Janet Mills, a Chuck Schumer puppet? And the reason why she's running is because Graham said that he wouldn't vote for Chuck Schumer to keep that leadership position. So he talked Janet into running. So you know she will be a Chuck Schumer puppet. So in the end, this just may be your two choices for that Senate seat in Maine. Yeah. The joys of voting as a black person in the United States.
Sorry, Graham Platner. As a rule, I don't support people with Nazi tattoos on their chest. I'm Major League, and I'll give you 3 things about it. Thing number 1. So if you're not up to speed, Graham Platner is a Democratic Senate candidate out of Maine. And this week it was revealed, among other things, that he's had a Nazi SS symbol tattooed on his chest for literally 2 decades. Now, this came to light after some now deleted social media comments were discovered where he was saying black people don't tip, and also made light of sexual assault in the military. Subsequently, since the media uproar about this, he said he's going to cover up that tattoo, and the internet is saying he apologized for the racist and sexist comments, but I haven't seen it. Now, mind you, before all this, he was running an incredibly successful, progressive campaign backed by the likes of Bernie Sanders. Thing number 2. This is the liberal Malcolm X has warned us about. Please allow me to quote, "The liberal elements function as the camouflage for the establishment, and they are more dangerous because they deceive the people. You can't build a progressive campaign around a recently, almost reluctantly, reformed bigot." For his part, Platner is using PTSD and being inebriated as the reason for the racism and the misogyny. That's the camouflage. And he only addressed the tattoo after opposition research made it public. That's the deceit. I would imagine the progressive voters in Maine deserve an authentic leader, not someone who needs 2 decades and a CNN expose to stop being racist. Thing number 3. This is a prime example of why the Democratic Party needs to be revamped from top to bottom. The old guard in the Democratic Party will undermine real progressives like Mamdani and fawn over diet MAGA ogres like this guy and Fetterman. They are so desperate to appear electable to white nationalists that they are willing to excuse any white man who says the right things, even if he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. The progressives in Maine deserve better, and the Democratic Party needs new leadership. But I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit the link in my bio and follow Major League TV on Facebook.
You know, I've been thinking more about Graham Platner. I've been looking around the internet, escaping my echo chamber. And I think he should stay. And not only do I think he should stay, I think he can win that fucking primary. A lot of you guys aren't built for this shit. Or maybe you're just not built like me. You see, I'm fueled by hate. You see, I hate everything the Democratic Party stands for right now. I hate Kamala Harris. Oh, I hate Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, I hate Chuck Schumer. I need just about anyone to the left of them to replace these people in Congress. We're talking about a 77-year-old right-leaning Democrat, Zionist, against raising taxes for the wealthy, and then a 40-year-old progressive who has a questionable past. Now, I read through all of his bullshit, and I honestly don't think he's that bad of a person. I just think he's kind of an idiot. Everybody loves talking about trying to get these AIPAC-controlled moderate dem ghouls out of the government. Nobody said that shit was gonna be easy. Nobody said that all of these candidates were gonna be perfect. It's too damn late for someone else to show up. It's him or the Zionist-loving 77-year-old. And I think people should pick Graham Platner.
This is all I got from this video. And I don't care what anybody got to say. Probably the tattoo was in the past, or maybe he's a changed person, or maybe he is a good person. No, I will never, ever. I don't care. I do not care. I know people will say I do not care about people's past. No, this is still in the present, because the not tattoo he has been there all these years, right? See, let me tell you something. Some people be playing with some people's brain and all that, think they can get away with it. Let me tell you something. If you have a tat, right, at some point, even if you had the tattoo when you did not know what that means, man, like a lot has really changed presently, and you are telling me after how many years you don't know what you got. Trust me, you knew. And whatever that is on that tat is actually what you are. Let me say this, because some people are very gullible, right? Some people will be like, oh, but no. Some people will use, just like the way somebody might actually be a Republican, but run under Democrats. And you think the person is progressive and all that. Not until after voting in the person, and then being a congressman or being a mayor or being anything, then you find out that the person was never for you. This is also part of it. And this is the kind of people that when they get when there is you all know that for a while they've been battling with a remaining vote to release, right, the Epstein's file. People like this will also go and vote against Democrats. I am sure you all may have seen so many people, so many videos of candidates, maybe Democrat joining Republican to vote against Democrats. Have you not sat down and asked yourself what is really going on? Does it mean that this person is no longer a Democrat? He is a Democrat, right? But he ran under the disguise that he is progressive. He is everything a Democrat needs. And Democrats voted for him and then, or her, and then you are seeing the person's true color. It's just like the way black women or black people in general will build somebody's platform, especially these people's platform. And in the end, they will tell you, if you are asking me if it is about Republican or Democrat, I am going with Republican. And some people are like, oh, really? That is who they have always been. I am going to tell anybody, it is not anybody that said that they are in Democrat Party is actually a Democrat. Some of them are in Democrat because they need to win votes. But all they do is for the other party. They support Republican and the rest of it. Nobody should make this kind of mistake. I said, because it's progressive, he's that, he's that, he's that. See, I will never, ever support anyone with that kind of tattoo. I don't care what you have to tell me. I will never also use my platform to promote, or and I'm not actually promoting because I don't do promotions here. But I will never tell anybody to go and vote for this person because this person is not who he said he is. Yeah. So for those that think, oh, so who are you going to vote? Look for who else or whatever. But this particular one, if you blindly decided to support Platner Graham, or I think that's his name, I hope that is correct, because he is running under Democrat, you are doomed. You are being played. And I don't like it when people play people. And I don't like it also when people do not do their research perfectly well before voting for somebody. Some people are not for you. It is after voting for the person that you find out that the person does not have your interests at heart. And then you start saying that the person changed. The person did not actually change. That has always been who he is. But because you did not do your research very well, so now that you have found out that he has, whether he likes, let him cover it, or whether he covers it or not, for the fact that he's been carrying this thing for how many years, he thought people would not. He thought people would not say it. It's just like Pe0ple said, you all know the one he has there. So tomorrow he will come and run under Democrats, and because I am supporting people that, no, I don't do things like that. I have a stand, actually. I do have a stand, and I am standing on where every other human, anybody that knows what is good and bad should actually stand. So I am still going to tell you, I don't care if he's running under Democrats because you all think Democrat is a free party and all that. I am not supporting him. I would let him go and run under the party that he actually belongs, because he knows the party where he belongs. But he wants to use black people and other people of color to cover up, to get votes, because everybody is looking for people that are progressive, because as you all can see, a lot is already going on, and everybody's looking for people that will just help them with the stress that is going on. And then you are going to bring somebody that will actually not ease the stress, but you are thinking he will ease the stress. But it is after you get him into the office that you know that he will never ease the stress for you. Bye for now.